Freshly mown grass and sounds of friends' laughter is in the air. You're ready to rock the summer, and so is Wickersham Jewelry during their annual Diamonds and Grill event, April 3rd through the 22nd. Give her the gorgeous ring she's been dreaming of. And get the Yeti Tundra, Yeti Hopper 8, or Traeger Grill you've always wanted with a qualifying purchase. Interest-free financing available. Wickersham Jewelry. If you can dream it, we can make it.
Is a new roof on your spring to-do list? Hi, I'm Paul, owner of Overhead Solutions. Now is a great time to think ahead and secure a spot for that replacement on our schedule. Go ahead and call our competitors, but before you sign on that dotted line, call Overhead Solutions. I believe our high quality and fair price can beat our competition.
Call Overhead Solutions for a free roof estimate.
Remember, don't overpay. Call Overhead. Overhead Solutions.
Live on NBC 12, this is News Watch 12 at 5.
Good evening, I'm Dan Hagan.
And I'm Jessica Jukic. A large corner lot in downtown Eagle River sat empty for years. It was a spot to just drive by, but now it's a place to sit and relax.
Last year, phase 1 of the Rotary Square project was completed, with turf, picnic tables, and more being installed. But the Rotary Club of Eagle River and other partners aren't stopping there. Newswatch 12's Mohammed Abdul-Kawi went up to Eagle River today to get an update on their project. Mohammed?
That's right, Dan and Jessica. After a long day of shopping and grabbing a bite to eat, the Rotary Square in Eagle River is a perfect place to sit back and relax. But the plan is to make the square a destination enjoyed by locals and tourists for years.
I'm just really excited about, kind of where this club has kind of brought this project so far.
Since 2021, the city of Eagle River has been working on Rotary Square, a place where people could come together and have a good time.
It's been a lot of hard work. It hasn't been just overnight with the progress that we've made with it. The members of the Rotary Club and people that have kind of stepped forward with their expertise put a lot of time into this project so far. It's just the funding part of it was really what surprised me about the project.
So far, the Eagle River Rotary Club has raised around $380,000 for their project, and they're hoping to break ground on their building in the spring.
Our goal is about $515,000, so we're very close.
Karen Margolowski is the executive director of the Eagle River Revitalization Program, and she says the plan for the square is to host a lot of community events.
To break ground early in the spring means that we can utilize the building and the lot in summertime. It's a place that people can come, that can escape, and we just hope that it helps them physically, mentally, emotionally, and it is just a vital part of the community.
With this project, the city of Eagle River is hoping to provide a little spark to the downtown area for generations.
For the pavilion and what we're doing with the space and the bathrooms, and it's going to get a lot of use. I mean, there's so much people, so much traffic down here in the summers, and it's really going to be an awesome space.
The sooner we can get the funds, the sooner we can break ground, and the sooner that the community can use it this summer. So we're super excited to have the community's support.
Two families are challenging Rotary to raise $55,000 for the Rotary Square project by June 1st. They will match those donations dollar for dollar. For more information on how you can help, you can visit our website at WJFW.com.
Thank you, Mohammed. Conrad, it is gorgeous out there. Beautiful day. Feels like summer.
Another summer-like day out there today. Wow, incredible stuff.
But I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It's not going to look so good this weekend, right?
Not for long, Dan. It's not going to last for long. We're going to cool down. Pretty sharp cold front coming in. And guess what, guys? Snow will be back. So I know it's almost May. Taking a look outside. First, let's talk about these very, very warm temperatures we had today. Not quite record-breaking temperatures like yesterday, but we did have upper 70s today. A record high, 83 degrees. We're not going to reach that today. Temperatures all over, though, even into the 80s up north into the UP. Stevens Point still at 83 degrees right now. Even Green Bay has temperatures in the 80s, so really summer-like temperatures have finally made it in. It is a bit windy, though. We do have a 13-mile-an-hour wind here in town. Look at Mosinee into Marshfield. Almost 20-mile-per-hour sustained winds. That means wind gusts are closer to 30 to even 35 in some spots. Dry air, dry vegetation. You know what that means. Fire weather warnings are out once again just south of Wausau into Stevens Point, into the Rapids as well, and some flood warnings up north. Lots of sunshine out there. A few passing clouds, and we'll have some increasing clouds tonight as temperatures cool off, hovering well above average into those lower 50s. Dan?
Some roads are closed in Lincoln County because of flooding. Here's Zenith Tower Road just west of Tomahawk. A river that leads into Lake Mahoxon is flooded that goes through this road. This is just one road experiencing flooding in the county. A part of County E going over the Spirit Flows just south of Tomahawk is closed, and a part of County X near Gleason is also closed, both because of flooding. Officials say never drive through across a flooded road.
Early this morning, a fire broke out at around 2 a.m. at an 8-unit condo in Rothschild. Crews responded and were able to put out the fire by around 11 a.m., but some hot spots were still present. The property is on the 7300 block of White Spire Road, and the condo is considered a total loss.
An Athens man faces felony charges for cutting the brake lines on a vehicle. According to police documents, he wanted to be with the vehicle owner's girlfriend. Bond has been set at $50,000 for 22-year-old David Genrich. Investigators say the victim noticed all of the brake lines in his SUV were cut on March 28th. That SUV was in a driveway of a residence in Merrill. Then on April 1st, brake lines were cut on the victim's dad's truck. The victim then told investigators about David Genrich and how he had been paying a lot of attention to his girlfriend. After a video camera was installed at the victim's dad's house, it showed footage of Genrich under the truck at around 2:30 a.m. on April 4th. Investigators shortly after interviewed Genrich and asked him why he had cut the brake lines. His answers indicated he wanted the victim out of the picture so he could take his girlfriend. Genrich faces 6 felony charges and is scheduled to be back in court on April 24th.
A new part owner has been announced for the Milwaukee Bucks. The NBA Board of Governors has approved the sale of former co-owner Mark Lasry's portion of investors to Dee and Jimmy Haslam. The Haslams will join Wes Edens and Jamie Dinan as co-owners for the franchise. With Lasry's departure, Edens will serve as the governor of the Bucks for the next 5 years. Similarly, the Detroit Pistons have been granted permission to interview Milwaukee Bucks assistant Charles Lee, according to ESPN. Many consider Lee to be their first pick for the job. Most lunch breaks, kids sit at a table together and talk up a storm.
But for one local initiative, a school district has brought in parents and tribal representatives to implement culture into their conversations. We'll have that story after Weather with Conrad right here on Newswatch 12.
It's spring, and Slumberland Furniture is celebrating with 20% off our low prices on gorgeous new furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Plus extra discounts on sofas, bar stools, accessories, and Slumbercrest mattresses. Right now, get this Ashley sofa for just $3.99 in your choice of 2 colors. Incredible! Did you know Slumberland has the lowest prices on Ashley products? And get an extra 20% off mattresses too.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Wausau Weight Loss, we know the secret. Our unique doctor-supervised program makes it easy to lose weight, get healthy, and get your energy back safely, naturally, and effectively. If you'd love to lose unhealthy fat without counting points or calories, no exercising, no prepackaged meals, no HCG, no drugs, no hypnosis or surgery, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695.
Hi, I'm Janelle. I've lost 70 pounds in 30 inches. I know the secret. I feel great now after losing the 70 pounds. I can do stairs. I don't have pain through the day, through the night. As a breast cancer survivor, I knew I needed to lose the weight to prevent future health issues. I feel great, living each day with hope for my future.
For your free private weight loss consultation, call Wausau Weight Loss today at 715-203-8695. WeKnowTheSecret.com.
Are record high energy and water costs putting a squeeze on your fixed or limited incomes? With inflation rising at record levels and incomes not keeping pace, you might be one of tens of thousands of Wisconsin residents who are struggling to survive. While you may not ask for it, the Keep Wisconsin Warm Cool Fund and your local energy assistance providers are here to help. No Wisconsin resident should ever have to be without heat, water, or power. For a hand up, apply today and call 1 800-506-5596. That's 800-506-5596. Or visit www.heat.help.
We made it. It's Friday. The weekend's around the corner. What a beautiful day out there today. Really warm temperatures, good amount of sunshine, but now we transition winter into possibly springish weather. Now feels more like summer, but most of this ice is really starting to thaw out. It's starting to melt. I would not recommend ice fishing anymore. We do also have a fire weather warning out just south of Wausau into Stevens Point. Same thing into the Rapids and down south into Milwaukee, Madison area. Have a pretty high risk of fires. Here in town, though, not so much. The ground is still really saturated, so not looking too bad. But temperatures, hey, look at that. 78 degrees was our high today. Not quite reaching a record high at 83, but still, we will take these any day. Even the UP had some upper 70s, even a couple of 80s. Merrill 80, Wausau 81 degrees. But look at Stevens Point, central Wisconsin. We're looking at some mid 80s even. Chicago, same story. Our average high should be around 52 degrees. So we are well above our average, close to 30 degrees above our average high temperature for this time of year. 13.5 hours of sunlight. It is getting much, much sweeter with spring finally making its presence even into Canada. We had some 60s, 70s. Florida now rebounding back into the 70s, 80s. Even a couple of lower 90s are showing up. So most of the country looking pretty good, but there is a sharp cold front on the way. Tomorrow, another warm day, 75. Look what happens. Saturday night, we have a sharp cold front moving in, really cooling us off by Monday. Sunday night into Monday, we're going to get snow, so that's why those temperatures are back into the 30s. But look what happens middle of next week. We're finally back to average, more closer to average temperatures in those 40s and 50s. It is a bit breezy out there right now. Tomorrow, another breezy and windy day in some spots. This right here, this is the beginning of some showers and thunderstorms that will be moving in 2, 3, 4 p.m. tomorrow, and that's going to bring some pretty gusty winds, and then it really ramps up Sunday into Monday as the storm gets closer to our region. Look at those wind gusts, close to 40 miles per hour in some spots. Today, though, what a wonderful day. Another sunny day. Temperatures in those upper 70s. We're looking pretty clear for now, but look at this line of showers and all this rain in the west right now. That's going to continue to develop. This system is moving out of the area. That allows moisture from the Gulf of Mexico to rise up, and that's going to fuel this low pressure system right about here. Denver's getting a little bit of snow. It's going to really intensify the next 24 hours, and then once it reaches us, we will get a couple of showers, maybe a couple of thunderstorms as well tomorrow. Then cold front comes in Saturday night into Sunday, and then Sunday, that rain transitions into a wintry mix and all snow on the back end. We're looking at Sunday night into Monday. All snow everywhere, even central Wisconsin, even southern parts of Wisconsin will get in on a little bit of snow. Tonight, though, really mild night. Temperatures around 52 degrees, mostly cloudy skies, so we will continue to have increasing clouds. Tomorrow, it's going to get warm. Temperatures in those mid-70s, but look at that. Showers and thunderstorms will be moving in those afternoon hours. Our 7-day outlook brought to you by Northwoods Furniture and Mattress does show that rain transitioning into snow Sunday into Monday. Then we are finally in the clear by Tuesday before more chances of rain Wednesday into Thursday. Dana, Jessica?
The Every Student Succeeds Act dates back to 1965 and provides federal grants to school districts. It's designed to ensure every student has an opportunity to succeed.
Title VI of the law outlines how funding is provided to districts to support tribal children. The Leona School District has an average enrollment of 300 students, and every year they're seeing more tribal children enroll. Today they held a feast for administrators, parents, and students to talk about how to better support those children. Jason Bertrand is the principal of Leona High School and hopes the feast draws more people to these conversations.
We have meetings like this every year, and it's maybe 4 or 5 people that will show up. That's why I'm so excited this time, because we didn't have anyone RSVP, but we're expecting over 100 people to show and to be able to have some great communication between us all.
Bertrand had a list of questions at each table aimed at stirring conversations. Chad Frank is a parent of a student in Leona and said he was taught to share his culture with others and is thankful for the feast.
Within our community on the reservation, that's what we teach our kids these days. So I find it amazing that The school district has taken an interest as well.
Those in attendance enjoyed the fried bread tacos and wild rice soup. They discussed where to display tribal nations' flags, how to include more native language, and possible trips to cultural centers. Inflation may be cooling down, but most prices are still a lot higher than they used to be.
But what causes inflation and how do experts calculate it? Newswatch 12's Hans Leck joins us in the studio and has more.
Thanks, Dan and Jessica. Whether it's the cost of your clothes, electricity, or the price of your house, inflation affects your money in many ways. But despite how important inflation is, many people are still confused by the data they are presented with. That's why I spoke to economists, politicians, and Wisconsinites with the purpose of trying to understand what is inflation.
Inflation is when all prices are going up.
Joe Mann is a regional economist working with the Federal Reserve of Minneapolis. He says the economic inflation is different from normal supply and demand.
Prices change all the time for individual goods and services for reasons having to do with supply and demand and other shocks that hit the economy. But inflation is when all prices are going up because the value of the money that we use to buy goods and services is falling, and we experience that as higher prices.
And that can be a real problem for many Americans. If the price of one good or service goes up, people can adjust. But as Joe explains,
but when we're experiencing inflation, the price of everything's getting more expensive in dollar terms. And there's not really a way to adjust for that.
So how do economists calculate those changes? Well, there are a few ways of measuring those differences, but the most commonly used estimate is the Consumer Price Index.
It can be difficult to actually measure the cost of living. The way that we actually do it is by going out and recording the prices for a whole lot of the normal commodities, the goods and services that people buy as a part of their daily life.
Those everyday purchases are then weighted based on how necessary they are to people's lives, with essentials like food and housing having more representation than haircuts or movie tickets. The changes are represented as the percentage that we call the inflation rate. While the explanation of what inflation is can be straightforward, the causes of inflation are far more complicated. 7th District Representative Tom Tiffany said it was largely due to government spending and the Federal Reserve printing more money during the pandemic.
Of March of 2020, the Federal Reserve printed about $5 trillion. And then Congress proceeded to spend that money, especially over the last session of Congress. That's really what unleashed inflation.
However, according to Mann, it is unclear how much of inflation was caused by government spending. Instead, he says another major cause was a disruption of people's normal spending habits during the pandemic.
So people usually spend their money a lot on services, on things like going out to eat, on things like traveling. And so there was all this money that they usually spend on services sitting around, and people started spending a lot more on goods. They started buying a lot more stuff.
Now, there is good news when it comes to inflation. The CPI in March was 5% year over year, marking the 9th consecutive month that rates have fallen. Also, food prices dropped last month for the first time since 2020. However, the Fed will continue to monitor rates and take appropriate actions to keep inflation down.
Very informative. Thanks, Hans. The change in seasons means it's time for spring cleaning.
And for residents in the Madison area, one company is making it easier to keep up with their pets' waste.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 38th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo on Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
Hi, I'm Scott.
I'm Allie, and this is our family.
Are you sick of shopping for big-ticket items only to be told you need to order it out and not see it for 6 months? Or would you rather explore it in person before purchasing it? Stop in Shoulders RV Marine, where we have millions of dollars of campers, boats, power sports, and docks and lifts. If you're thinking of almost anything outdoors, sales, parts, rentals, or service,
we'd love you to think of us.
Shoulders RV Marine, across from Menards, Rhinelander.
The 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline is here and ready to help. Anyone in Wisconsin can call, text, or chat to get connected to a trained 988 counselor. Trained counselors are here to support anyone experiencing a suicidal, mental health, or substance use crisis. You can also contact 988 if you're concerned about someone. 988 is confidential and free to all Wisconsin residents. 988 24/7. Call, text, chat. Here to support you.
Good news. This just in. Your Ford dealers have fresh shipments of their award-winning SUV lineup in stock and ready for you to drive home today. Get your hands on a new Ford, the #1 brand in SUV owner loyalty, including Bronco Sport with standard GOAT modes and Explorer, America's all-time best-selling SUV. And now, here's more good news. Choose FlexBuy on Explorer or Edge and get 0.9% APR financing for 66 months plus $500 FlexBuy cash.
Our phones keep us constantly connected.
Please switch to airplane mode.
But what if they had a mode to help us actually connect? Introducing Us Mode, a mode that makes our phones less distracting, so we can focus on quality time. So the notifications we get are the ones that matter. So we're never distracted from what's most important. Visit US Cellular in-store or online to set up Us Mode for free, even if you're not a customer. US Cellular, built for us.
Join us this weekend in Tomahawk for the 38th annual WJJQ Home Show with Health Expo on Saturday from 9 till 4, Sunday 10 till 3 at the Tomahawk School Complex. Admission is free and sponsored by area businesses and Northwoods 92.5 WJJQ.
Next week, more than 100 northern Wisconsin veterans will take a trip to Washington, D.C. In this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, they will go on the never-forgotten honor flight. Monday morning, the Northern Wisconsin group will fly to the Central Wisconsin Airport of Mosinee. Spending the day at various monuments and memorials, they will return Monday evening. In total, veterans from 45 states and 124 cities have taken part in the honor flight. On that same note, be sure to tune in to our newscasts next week. Our reporter Matt Weaver will join them on that flight, and we'll have coverage of the flight once they return. Your dog's number 2 is priority number 1 for a pet waste cleanup business in Madison, especially this time of year.
Mackenzie Davis caught up with the owner of Reporting for Duty to talk to them about how business is picking up.
I think my favorite poop pun is that we take a lot of crap from our customers.
It's not a job for everyone, but someone's got to do it.
I've just gotten used to it over the years.
The idea came to mind on Thomas and Rachel Dietz's honeymoon in 2019, when Thomas wasn't too excited about going back home to clean up the yard filled with a week's worth of dog waste.
And I was like, I wonder if anybody would ever pay for a service like that.
And from there, the couple started Reporting for Duty. And this time of year, they say business ramps up.
As soon as the snow melts, people look out in their backyard, especially who have 2, 3, 4 dogs, and they see the waste piles out there, and they're like, no way.
Now serving over 120 customers in the Madison area.
Each year, we've doubled in size, sometimes tripled in size since 2019.
This is a side hustle for Thomas, who works a 9-to-5 as a network engineer, but with the growth of his scooping business, he hopes someday to make it his full-time gig. And the meaning behind the name Reporting for Duty is more than just a dog waste pun.
Technically, our slogan for the company is Leave No Turd Behind, which is a spin-off of Leave No Man Behind. I wanted to make this somewhat military-related theme, being a veteran, which is where the Reporting for Duty came from.
And clients aren't just people who don't feel like picking up after their pups.
A lot of our customers rely on this service, too, who have disabilities, some are blind.
As a veteran himself, Thomas says he also tries to serve disabled veterans with dogs.
They just can't get out in their yard. So that gives it an extra good feeling that at least we're helping.
Thomas hopes he can grow the business to have franchises across the Badger State or even from coast to coast. But one thing he knows is they'll stick to picking up only what dogs leave behind.
We have gotten quotes for horse manure, pigs, chicken poop, goose poop, which some of them I've entertained. The larger stuff, like the horse, we don't have any bobcats or anything for that.
At Wausau Hearns Furniture, we want you to save. During the month of April, we will pay the sales tax.
Wait. I can do better than that. This April, Hearns Furniture will pay the sales tax and then some, only at Wausau Hearns Furniture.
Emmer Properties leases office, storage, and manufacturing space, as well as apartments, duplexes, and homes. We are your first call, your last call, your only call for your rental or lease needs.
This is how legends are made.
Chevy Silverado and new Silverado HD. Choose your own path with the #1 best-selling retail full-size pickup and see where it takes you. Find new roads. It's Chevy truck season. Get 0% financing plus make no monthly payments for 90 days on all 2023 Silverado 1500 pickups. Or current Chevy owners get $37.50 total cash allowance on all 2023 Silverado pickups with a turbo high-output engine. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
For your most brilliant smile, Crest has you covered.
Nice smile, Brad.
Nice. Thanks. Crest 3D White. 100% more stain removal. Crest.
We used to struggle with greasy messes. Now, we just freak, wipe, and we're done.
With Mr. Clean Freak, conquering messes is that easy. Clean Freak's mist is 3 times more powerful, and it works on contact. Clean Freak, just freak, wipe, done.
Saturday, April 22nd, the Wisconsin Department of Justice will be holding a free prescription drug take-back event. If you have unused or unwanted medications, ointments, patches, non-aerosol sprays, inhalers, vials, or pet medication, clean out your medicine cabinets. Don't let your old medication fall into the wrong hands by disposing of unused or unwanted medication properly. For more information on locations and accepted items, go to doseofrealitywi.gov. This information is brought to you by the Human Service Center of Forest, Vilas, and Oneida County.
For the most up-to-the-minute info on your school closings, visit WJFW.com on your computer, your tablet, or your phone. WJFW School Closings, sponsored by Builder Service Incorporated, Menke Buick GMC Mazda, and People's State Bank.
At Wausau Hearns Furniture, we want you to save. During the month of April, we will pay the sales tax.
Wait. I can do better than that.
This April, Hearns Furniture will pay the sales tax and then some, only at Wausau Hearns Furniture.
Well, Dan and Conrad, this is my first Wisconsin spring, and so far I've been loving it. If it's 70s and 80s, I will take that.
Well, I don't want to, step on Conrad's toes here, but you might be in for a rude awakening tomorrow, if I'm right.
Yes, Jessica, Dan is exactly right. We're going to cool down. Tomorrow, you're going to enjoy it. Mid-70s, and then look what happens Sunday. Take a look outside right now, though. Take a look at these very nice warm temperatures we had earlier today. 78 degrees was our high temperature, not quite reaching our record high that was reached over 60 years ago at around 83 degrees, but still 78 degrees for this time of year. Feels like middle of summer. Strong high pressure system for the eastern side of the country, but big changes are on the way. Just to the west, we have a sharp cold front making its way across the country slowly, and as that happens, more precipitation moves in. Rain transitions into snow Sunday night into Monday, so get those plows and shovels ready. Are you sure? I'm absolutely sure.
Well, I better enjoy this then. Thanks,
exactly.
Conrad. That's all the time we have.